absolutely destroyed. Oh my goodness. So I don't know if you guys happen to have seen this interview with Larry Elder, but boy, oh boy, this man is just getting destroyed after destroyed after destroyed. After Teslin destroyed him on The Breakfast Club, exposing his ignorance when it came to systems, this man wants to talk about there is no system problem. There are no problems. Racism is not a big issue. And then turns around and complains about how the system prevented him from joining the debates, right? Talking about, well, it's the RNC. The RNC wouldn't let me join the debates. And that's what it's like. I thought there wasn't an issue. I thought the system was fine, right? You're gonna complain about the system here, but then praise the system when it has to deal with black people. So there's no issue when it comes to black people. But when it comes to January 6th, oh, it's the system targeting the innocent white people, the rioters. It's just this buffoonery. He loves praying and promoting ignorant-based narratives. Essentially, only the people who are ignorant and dumb would actually find anything Larry Elder says to be of value. And I won't say anything, but I'll say, let's say 90-10. 90% of what this man says is just ignorance. It's outdated information. It's wrong data that he's mischaracterizing. That is 90% of what Elder says. And the issue is that he's always going in many of these echo chambers where people are just applauding him. He goes on Higher Learning Podcast and gets eviscerated because Van is pushing back on a lot of his talking points. And Larry Elder's not used to that. Van knows his history. He knows about especially black history and the grievances and the oppression and the subjugation that we've had to deal with, which leads us to where we are right now. This is something that most, and I would say 99.9% of black conservatives do not know, because black conservatives' understanding of black history is not from black people. It's from white conservatives. Now, white conservatives have a certain mindset. So by doing that, they give them bits and pieces of their history to promote to the masses. That's what they do. So as Malcolm X says, you can't have your enemy teach you. You can't have them teach you about you. That's not going to happen, because there's a certain disdain and a certain I would say inferiority complex that many of them have and suffer from, that they will now pass on to you. Nevertheless, moving forward, going into this interview, one thing that is completely blown out, just blown out this freaking atmosphere is the fatherlessness, right? Because that's what Larry Elder loves to promote. Fatherlessness, especially within the black community, fatherlessness. But no one actually ever listens to what he says.
Number one, I feel the most important pressing domestic problem in America is the epidemic of fatherlessness. It is particularly acute in the black community, where nearly 70% of black kids now enter the world without a father in the home, married to the mother.
Now listen to that, because if you're just listening, passively, you're not going to catch it. There's a very stark difference between someone not being in the home and someone not married to their significant other. Those are two different things. They try to conflate it. Larry Elder tries to conflate it. Just because a father does not live in the home married to the significant other does not mean that father is not present in the child's life, because all the data suggests that that's completely not the case, especially when it comes to black men, because that's what he talks about, black men. So black men are very active within the homes when it comes to being active in their child's lives. This is something that Van quotes in the data that he cites to combat Larry Elder's propaganda.
According to the CDC, 58% of black fathers live with one or more of their children, and even a larger majority, 72.7% of black fathers talk with their children about things that happened that day several times a week or more. Black fathers, 70%, were more likely to have bathed, dressed, diapered, or helped their children use the toilet every day, compared with white and Hispanic fathers.
It's such a flaccid take on a serious issue that you can't talk to someone who has an IQ, below room temperature. You can't do that, because furthermore, when you compound that, what is this magic equation of having a father in the home? So just by having a father, the biological father in the home, that means the child is going to magically be successful? No, because there are a lot of trash dudes out there that are fathers. There are a lot of trash men out there that, you know what? In many cases, they're outside the home and it benefits the home because their influence on that child and on that mother and that lifestyle would be damaging to the child. It'd be detrimental to the child to have a trash father in the home. Let me be clear, the same would go for a trash mother, okay? So this concept of if you just had a father in the home, everything would be peaches and cream. This is a simplified, smooth-brained take that they feed to, the masses, which of white ignorance, which make up the Republican Party, unfortunately.
You're talking about fatherlessness and that there's this epidemic in the Black community of fatherlessness. And excuse me if I've missed it, but to date, what have you done to combat fatherlessness in the Black community?
Okay, so you're accepting that we have an issue with fatherlessness in the Black community. Huh?
The question is, what have you done?
I'm sorry, it's not clear.
What have you done?
What have I done to address a problem that you don't think exists?
Do you not want to answer? You don't have to answer, because I think that's the answer. Is that have you not done anything to combat fatherlessness?
Now, having said that, I do have to give credit where credit is due to Larry Elder, because he says one of the most base things in his entire career as a white propagandist. And that is that Black people won't catch up. Okay, that's what he says. He says collectively, it's game over for Black people.
Larry, according to that example that you just gave about white people not staying still and Black people having to basically catch up, if that's the case, according to your example, we'll never catch up.
Well, collectively, probably not. But individually, can individuals do well? Of course.
He's out of line, but he's right.
The irony of him saying that is that little does he know that he just gave a pro-reparations argument. The whole point of reparations is, in fact, to benefit the group, not the individual, due to the wealth gap that was established thanks to slavery, systemic racism, and a variety of practices that this country has targeted towards Black people. So Larry Elder just gave a pro-reparations argument. Good job, dum-dum. I want you to understand this, okay? I want you to get this. He says collectively, it's game over for Black people. Each one to himself. That's his mindset. Think about that. His mindset, do what you have to do in order to get that bread. And now you fully understand his whole career. You fully understand politics, from a Black perspective. Because when you look into the political arena, what do you see? Whether it's the right or the left, you see a bunch of Sambos. That's what you see. You see a bunch of Black heads with white propaganda. They are advocating for everyone and anyone because that's what pays. The Asian person will pay them. The white person will pay them. The Hispanic will pay them to advocate for them. So in their mind, hey, I got to do what I have to do. And that is fundamentally why I talk about in my video the 5 years that Black people have before political extinction. People like this are looking to expedite that process. Everyone knows that you're not powerful. The single person is not powerful. You're only powerful due to the collective, okay? One Black person doesn't mean anything. If you are the only Black person in a white-dominated community, you are at risk. You are the outlier there. Because if the community deems you, hey, this person did that, and the police come by, well, that's game over. It's one versus the whole community. That's why you are respected via the group. When you look at Jews, the group. When you look at white people, the group. When you look at Asians, the group. That's why. So it's magic how all these groups happen to be successful, but one group just magically just falls behind? No, that's not how that works, Pimpin'. And if you know anything about history, as Van does, he can absolutely break down pinpoint accuracy as to how we are where we are.
I believe coming out of slavery into Reconstruction, Black Americans did what they were supposed to do. They went out and bought large tracts of land everywhere. In the 1910s in this country, Black people owned more land than they do now. White terrorism and usury being in the form of contract buying schemes, other intellectual ways to defraud people out of their homes and out of their land, heirs' property rights, all of those things. Wealth was taken from Black America.
Now, the thing is, the problem, as I said in my video, is that no one cares, okay? If you are coming from a group of people that have a lineage of evil, and they do you think they care that you got the short end of the stick and they're the ones that gave it to you? Do you think they care? No, they don't care. And this is, I mean, it's sad, but it's the truth of the matter, is that Black people as a whole, we have been undermined. That's what has happened time and time and time and time again. And you have people like Larry Elder who want to turn a blind eye to that. But overall, I will say that Van held his own beautifully, okay? He combats him with the gaps that Larry Elder has in his understanding of history, especially Black history. And the reason why he has those gaps is because it's beneficial to the political career. Is that they go into these communities and they prey on simple-minded or ignorant Black people, especially the youth. And they groom them to be soldiers, foot soldiers, for white America. That's what they do. They groom them to be foot soldiers for their propaganda, for their political endeavors. And their political endeavors have nothing to do with Black people. It's going to benefit white people. It's going to benefit Asian people. It's going to benefit Latin people. And they don't care about Americans, and they sure as heck don't care about Black Americans. But let some little blue-eyed, blonde-haired Ukrainian, okay, be out of a house and home and see how America treats them. So, but welcome to America. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe Lucas, no, Larry Elder, they wouldn't let him talk, Larry Elder. They were just so disrespectful to Larry Elder. Or if you believe, listen, you can, every single time they try and make excuses, the biggest excuses in the world to try and rationalize why their favorite Sambo underperformed. And the problem with that is that it's polarizing. Because if you favor this man, then no matter what he does, you're going to favor him. Even if he loses, which he did, completely got BTFO'd, you're still going to favor him. That's the problem in politics right now. It's just cultish behavior. And, you know, no one wins off of that. You want to know who wins off of that? The elites, those at the top. Okay? Those are the only people who win off of your cultish behavior. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you're more than welcome to call in during Disagreement Day, which are typically held Friday through Sunday. There'll be a number on screen. You call in, we duke it out. Either or. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. All that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.